Hello, welcome back to my channel. Here's another video showing how to do your own hair in your own house. In today's video, I'm doing yet another braids hairstyle, but this time around, drum roll, I'm doing Bora Bora braids. At first I was like, what's the difference between boho braids and Bora Bora braids? But I've come to realize that Bora Bora braids are just more full. It just means that you add more curly hair per braid, I think. And what I've been seeing so far is basically like you can barely see the braids itself, you just see the hair. So it's like big hair, don't care. The 100% human hair I would be using for my Bora Bora braids is from Ywigs. They sent me this beautiful hair that I can't wait to try. Ooh. How many packs? I got 3 packs of the hair. Let's see what it looks like up close. The human bulk hair is actually 22 inches. It's a natural color and it's a loose deep wave. The hair is so soft. I actually love the loose deep wave pattern and I just can't wait to see what it looks like. Ywigs also sent me their long satin bonnet, which I'm obsessed with. I can't wait to try it. Alright, let's get into the hair, shall we? I have separated and pulled the hair that I need on my braided. On this side, I'm going to use braiding hair and I'm basically just using a synthetic braiding hair that's 32 inches for me to braid my hair. I just wanted to show you what my setup looked like. First thing I do is to section my hair. I'm putting the front of my hair away and I'm twisting it so it doesn't lose moisture. I always love to start my braids from the back because it's just easier. I use the mirror in front and the back to make sure the lines that I part are straight. I just want to point out that for these braids, I ended up doing 3 different methods of feeding in the hair. I was basically trying to see which method I preferred best and which added more curly hair to each braid. For this method, I started by braiding my own hair as you do with any knotless braid. Then I fed in 1 piece of braiding hair and curly hair at the same time. Then added a 2nd piece of braiding hair, braided once, and then added a 3rd piece of braiding hair. And this time around, I braided like 3 times before I added a 2nd piece of curly hair. I braid a little bit down just to make sure there's space between the curly hair. And then I proceeded to add the 3rd curly hair. I'll try to keep count of how many curly hair I insert. And then I continue to braid. I add the 4th curly hair. I think this is the 4th one. For this hair, I'm trying to braid as carefully as I can just to make sure each curly piece is in there. There we go, the 5th curly hair. I just want to make sure each piece is in there so that it doesn't fall out. And then I braided a little bit and pulled that out to put on top of my head. At this point, I should use a clip to make sure the curlies are at the top, but I'm like, let's see how far I can go. There's the 8th piece of curly hair. I'm trying to make sure the gaps between each curly piece is uniform, if that makes sense. I think I've lost count of the curly pieces right now. But I just wanted to point out that this hairstyle requires a lot of patience. Each braid takes a long time to do, and if you notice, I'm braiding slowly so I don't make any mistakes, so patience is key. At this point, I finished braiding the end of the braids, and that's it, our first braid done. So let's see, how many curly hair do we actually have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces. We have 9 pieces of curly hair. For the second method I'm using to feed in the braids, I start by feeding 1 piece of curly hair first, then braid, and then feed in the first piece of braiding hair. I take out the curly hair before I feed in the next piece of braiding hair, and then feed in the 3rd piece of braiding hair. If you notice, I'm only using 3 pieces of braiding hair. The next thing I do is to add a piece of curly hair and then take that piece out. I continue braiding to just put a little bit of space between them before I add the next piece of curling hair. And if you notice, when I add the curly hair, I braid about 2 times to secure the curls in before I take it out of that braid. This method has worked for me and the curly pieces don't fall out at all. You need to make sure you secure your human hair curls in, because as you wear your protective style over the weeks, if you haven't secured your curls in properly, they start to fall out. The maintenance of this hairstyle means that you need to brush your braids from time to time, and that brushing will pull your curls out if you don't secure them properly. Please note that the methods I am showing in the way I'm feeding in the curly hair and the braiding hair is just for the beginning of my braids. Because I want this Bora Bora braids to be really full, I'm trying to find a method or a technique that adds as much curly hair as possible per braid. At the back, as you have seen, I'm adding 9 pieces of curly hair, but as you will see when I move to the front, towards the front of my braids, I'm going to add more curly human hair. One thing would stay constant with my braids all over my head, and that is the amount of space between each curly piece. I try to braid about 3 to 4 times before I add the next curly piece of hair. I am just adding the space as the spirit leads. I'm loving the braids so far. I have done 3 rows at the back, but these Bora Bora braids are kicking my... It's a lot, but we move. Now I'm about to show you the third method of feeding in these braids. I really hope I'm not confusing you at all, but here we go. I feed in the first curly piece of hair with the top in and the ends out. Then I feed in the first braiding hair, braid once, and then feed in a second curly piece of hair, and then feed another piece of braiding hair, and then braid all together before I feed in another curly piece of hair. Because I really want the front of the braids to be full, I am literally adding curly pieces of hair every time I braid, and then make sure I take the curly pieces out as well once they're secure. If you notice, this method just makes sure I have curly pieces of hair on each side of my braid, so the right side of my braid and the left side of my braid. That way I end up with more curly pieces of hair, and then the top and the front side of my braids are really full. I actually really hope that this makes sense, but if you don't really understand my directions, please just watch the video and see how I am feeding in the curly pieces of hair. The main points for you to notice is for each braid that I do, I only feed in 3 pieces of braiding hair. That's it. And for the curly pieces for the front, I'm feeding in about 10 to 12 pieces per braid because I want it to be full. That's basically the gist. Out of the 3 methods I have shown you now, the third method is what I love best and is what I continue to do throughout my whole braids. Once I'm done with this braid, I'll actually show you how the curly pieces look like with the braid. I'll spread them out and show you. This was the exact moment your girl remembered that she had clips to clip her curly pieces up so she can see the braid she's braiding. Don't be like me. Use your clips to put the curly pieces of hair out of the way. Do not put the hair in your mouth, please. I would always say this. Don't put hair in your mouth. You don't know where the hair has been. Alright, let me show you what each braid looks like. It literally looks like a fish skeleton. But I love it. This method just works so well. It just makes sure my braids are full. Okay, this is me about to complain again. These Bora Bora braids like take you more hours to do. I feel like these braids are going to take about 8 to 10 hours. I don't know yet. You know what? By the end of the braids, I'll let you know how long it's taken. But I'm loving it so far. It's not too bad. It's looking super cute. It's looking super nice, and it'll be so worth it in the end. Oh, another thing to point out is that I'm not using any gel whatsoever for my braids. If you decide you want gel, please go ahead and use them. I've just found that my braids are still clean and neat without the gel, and I don't like product buildup. So you do what's best for you and your hair. Time for a much needed water break. I needed to hydrate because this is definitely an arm workout. At this point, I think Bora Bora braids 1, Khadijah 0 because I am so tired. And I'm also a bit nervous because I feel like I'm running out of the human hair. So I am basically adding little by little. I really wanted it to be really full, but I gotta work with what I got. Let's keep going. I can barely keep my eyes open. But I don't want to continue this braid tomorrow. I still want to keep going. I mean, Marvin Emery is no punk. Let's keep going. At the last 2 rows of my braids, I decided to pre-pot my lines so I know exactly how many braids I have left. I sectioned them by just twisting the hair away, and this just makes it easier, and I know that I have 8 braids left. Ooh, I can't wait. I really should have started these braids early in the day because it's so late right now and I'm still braiding, but I didn't want to keep braiding for 2 days. I needed to make sure that I finish my braids on time, so don't be like me. When you want to do these Bora Bora braids, please start early in the day so you can finish on time. Braiding into the night is not fun, especially when you're feeling so sleepy. I am so sleepy, but I'm quite determined to finish these braids tonight. Finally just finished braiding my hair. I'm so tired. It is 1:50 a.m. I need to sleep. I'm going to put my hair up so I can go to bed. This is coming in handy. This long satin bonnet is actually quite genius because this means your braids don't change shape and it doesn't get so heavy when you pile them up in your hair. I don't know why I haven't used this kind of bonnet for the longest because it's a total game changer. Tomorrow morning, you know what? I don't even know what I'm about to say. See you in the morning, okay? This is the morning after. What's the time? It's 9:15 a.m. I woke up, showered, got ready, dipped the ends of the braids in hot water, and here I am. I love my hair. Oh my goodness, look at it. It is so full. I would have loved for it to be fuller than this. I mean, they call it Bora Bora braids, right? So I wanted it to be extra full, but I only had 3 packs. If I'm going to do this hairstyle again, I'm definitely doing 4 packs. So put that in mind if you want to do this hairstyle again. But oh my god, I am obsessed and in love. And the hair, look at my hands going through it. Wish I had 4 packs. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is nice. Ywigs, y'all did it. Y'all did it. I love how you can style the hair any way you want as well. And it's not too heavy. And yes, I didn't slay my edges because can't be bothered. But hello, hair. Obsessed. Look at the amount of hair. You know what? I was so exhausted yesterday and I was almost giving up, but it's so worth it. So worth it. If you need all the details of this hair, it's down below in the description. I got you. Oh, and I also want to say shout out to Ywigs for sending me this long bonnet. I've always been seeing long bonnets online, but I've never tried them before. And last night, usually when I have braids, I'll just tie a satin or silk scarf, but then it's like too much pressure. But this, perfect. Thank you so much for watching this video from beginning to end. I hope you try these braids as well. Please actually press that button to like this video. It helps me a great deal to produce more videos. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please share this video with everybody. It really helps my engagement and I appreciate it. Thank you and see you next time.